Lesson 1-3, Concept 3, Solving Equations that have Fractions. So when you have a fraction, you basically have both multiplication and division. So we're going to use both multiplication and division to isolate our variable. There is an easier way though. All right, so we will start with the way we've learned. So we're going to use multiplication first. We want to get rid of that 3, so we're going to multiply both sides by 3 and cancel. And then we want to divide by 2. Okay, and I'll do it off to the side because we want to get rid of that 2 still, and that 2 is basically multiplication with our variable. So we divide both by 2 and that cancels. And we're left with the inverse or the opposite of our original fraction. Okay, and that actually is where the shortcut comes in. So instead of bothering with doing the multiplication and then doing the division and having extra steps, we are just going to multiply both sides of our equation by the reciprocal of the fraction. Okay, so instead of negative 3 over 8, we're going to multiply it by 8 over negative 3 to both sides. And we can cancel the whole fraction because we have cross multiplication. And then we can solve our equation for our variable. 6 and 3 both share a factor, so we can divide by 3 from both, and that leaves us with 2 and negative 1 on the bottom. 2 times 8 is 16, and because we have 1 on the bottom, it just becomes an integer, but it's negative 1, so our integer turns into negative 16. Okay, and just like before in the other two examples, we do need to check our work. We go back to our original equation, negative 3 over 8 times, and now our value for x was negative 16 equals 6. Okay, if we set this up as a fraction, we have 8 and 16, and those share 8 as a factor, so we can divide both by 8, and we end up with negative 2 and 1 on the bottom. Negative 3 times negative 2 is going to be a positive 6. 1 times 1 is going to be 1, so it'll just be the integer 6, and that does in fact equal our answer 6. So to make a shortcut for messing around with fractions, instead of trying to do both multiplication and division, multiply by the reciprocal to move both the numerator and the denominator at the same time, and that will help speed things up. All right, that's it for this lesson.